Good afternoon, my friends. Welcome to Tom's Tinkering and Adventures. As always, Tom. Cheers. Well, I found out today that I'm suffering from a disorder called MPS. You may suffer from it as well. It stands for Multiple Project Syndrome. If you're into working on things like I am, you probably get started on something and something else comes up. And you may set aside what you're working on and get started on the next thing, and then something else shiny catches your eye and you're working on a third item, and next thing you know you have a whole house or craft room or garage or shop or whatever you might have full of your started but not completed projects. So today, even though I am a guest in the home here, I do have several projects that I promised to help on, and some of the stuff that I brought along with me that needed work that I've been talking about in the last several videos a little bit here and there, but I haven't finished them up. So, and some of them maybe I didn't even talk about, but just decided that today's the day to try to knock some of this stuff out. The weather has taken a slight turn here. It's got a little bit of rain and some wind, not the beautiful oasis that it was the entire last week. And the schedule for the upcoming week is saying that there's probably going to be some rain and a little bit colder. But what the heck, it's not too bad. I like it here. I can't stay forever, but the weather's okay in the summer. I've been here during the winter as well, and I don't mind it too much, but I'm just a visitor. So with all that said, let's take a look at the projects that I got in work here today. So I think I mentioned I was talking about doing some seam sealing on my tent. I got pretty blessed, honestly. I complained a bit on the road about riding in the rain for a day and a half, and I only got rained on in the tent one day. But I've camped with this tent. This is just the rainfly actually here set up on the frame. But I've camped with this tent, geez, I don't know how many days over the last several years. We picked this tent up at REI. If you're a shopper at REI, you know that their stuff is always a little bit premium priced, but a couple times a year they have what's called their garage sale or parking lot sale, whatever they call it at the different ones. And that's where they sell things that people have returned. So if you're an REI member, you can have like a no conditions return item. You know, if you don't like it, you can bring it back. So I think we picked this tent up at one of those REI sales. Hey, Chris, thank you very much for watching my videos. Appreciate you out there. Yeah, so we picked this tent up at one of those REI garage sales, and my wife and I backpacked in the Sierras with this thing. That was pretty nice. Did a 5-day backpacking trip. We did about the first 100 miles or so of the Pacific Crest Trail, and I have taken this thing out when my son was in the Boy Scouts, all the way to Eagle Scout, and this has been my go-to tent for motorcycle camping. And in all that time, you know, I said I was blessed on this trip. It was only 10 days. I got rained on a day and a half. But in all that time camping with this tent, I probably only got rained on it maybe a half a dozen times or so. Not too many. And only one time I really recall it was pretty bad. And it was a motorcycle trip where I was camping in somewhere in New Mexico. I don't even know where the hell I was. I just stopped for the night and found a place to throw it on the tent. And I got a crazy summer monsoon. But the tent's been good. Now this last time I took it out here on this trip, rained on one night. It wasn't bad, but I did notice a little bit of leakage, and for two reasons why I haven't done seam sealing on this tent in the entire time I've owned it. And one is one that you may also suffer from besides the MPS, Multiple Project Syndrome. It's that I am freaking lazy. So I think that would be called IFL, I'm freaking lazy. So this tent has needed to be seam sealed for quite some time, but I haven't done it. So I went out and purchased some seam sealer here at our local neighborhood store. Fred Meyer is the store here in Alaska, which is kind of like a Walmart. They have a little bit of everything. And then you just go along all the seams and try to clean off as much of the old seam sealer. And this stuff has a lovely little brush applicator. You know, you can see it's leaking a little bit here, or dripping. I put it on a little bit heavy, but that's okay. You put it on the inside. So I went around all the seams on the rainfly. Then I am going to set the tent up tomorrow and do all the bottom seams on that. like I said, I noticed a little bit of leakage on it. I stayed dry, but I don't know how long my luck is going to hold out. So that's project number 1 of my MPS, multiple project syndrome. Number 2 is one that I've talked about a couple times in several videos since I've gotten here. How my motorcycle was acting like crap because of the rain. And there she is, direct from jolly old England. My fender extender installed on my fender. I finally got it done, folks. There you have it. So that in place should protect my engine should I have to ride in a torrential downpour like Canada brought to me the last time I rode through there. So hopefully that will provide enough coverage to keep the water off the top of the engine, keep the bike from running like crap, and I can keep enjoying my adventures and send you some videos when I get back on the road next week. Project number 3 is one I didn't know I had, but there was a broken chair up in the dining room. I don't know if you can see the crack there. Yeah, Paul, I agree. Canadian weather's terrible. Oh. Look at that. There's my daughter. I'm fixing your chair. I hope your husband's not mad. He's probably not. I think everyone likes to get a little bit of a hand here and there. So this thing had a pretty bad crack in it. I got some wood glue, clamped it up, and you can see kind of why it cracked. If you look at the construction here, they ran 2 dados down the entire length, so it's kind of compromised for the strength. It would have been, I can see why they did it for these corners, but it would have been nice if they would have just went part way. Anyway, we'll see how that holds. If that doesn't work, I got another plan. Yeah, some fatty sat on it. We're not going to name any names. I think maybe we could drill some small holes in here and put some screws in there to hold it, or put a piece of bracing on the side here. So we'll just see how she works. We'll let that set up for a day. So what is that on now? Project number 3. Project number 4, and I think I mentioned this one. Let's see. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see up there. There was some leaking on the garage ceiling. So, and that's been plaguing my son-in-law and my daughter here for, I don't know, they said the last month or 2 they noticed a little bit of leaking there, and they thought maybe it was the bathtub, and I wasn't certain what it was, but I threw the old ladder there, climbed up, drew out a square, cut out a hole to get a look at it, and I didn't think it looked like the bathtub, and it turns out it was not the bathtub, it was the lovely toilet leaking. So if any of y'all have ever done I need my beverage here. I can't be suffering through multiple project syndrome without a beverage. So if y'all have ever had a toilet leak issue, it's almost always the wax ring. And on houses like this, they live in a nice neighborhood here, but it's like a planned development. So houses like that, yeah, the wax ring, everyone knows about the wax ring. So if you live in a lovely housing development, it was a planned housing development like this, you know how they build these things. They knock out 20, 30 of them at a time, come in, frame them up real quick, then they send in the electricians and the plumbers, and they knock it out, and then the finish guys come in. So if you live in a house like that, chances are you're going to have the same issue that they had at this house, and that is that the plumbers installed the toilet flange on the subfloor, and then the flooring folks came in afterwards and floored around it, which then sets your toilet flange down there. Yeah, Joe Jenkins, lowest bidder. Well, maybe it's not even lowest bidder, but I mean, they're obviously trying to knock these houses out fast when they build them. I'm not saying that the quality is bad, but if you're building an individual house, it's just going to get a little bit better quality control. And things like the toilet flanges set on the subfloor with the flooring above it causes issues. So when we pulled the toilet up, it had 2 or maybe even 3 wax rings all jammed in there trying to solve that problem of the toilet flange being a ½ an inch below the flooring. So if you run into that issue, there's lots of things out there. I've used a couple of them, and I looked up a few. We ended up, yeah, Paul, you're building condos? Yeah, I'm sure. And it's understandable. I mean, you don't want the plumber to finish half of the job. and then come back and install the flange after the flooring guys get in there. So I understand why it happens. And there's lots of things out there to solve that problem. And then we used one I haven't used before, which was like a wax ring with a rubber piece above it that's supposed to make up for those issues. And it sealed up fine, and it was reasonably priced, and it was easy. And the best part about it was that my son-in-law, great guy, taking care of my daughter and my granddaughter. But he's a young guy, got a lot to learn, just like we all did at that age. And he'd never done that before, but he was happy to chip in there. We pulled the toilet off and cleaned up all that mess. And you know, it's no fun working on a toilet, but hey, it's something we got to do. And saving some money is also another great thing. I mean, we spent 15 bucks, I think, on the wax ring and the other items that we needed to fix it. Maybe all told, because we cut the hole up here. Flip, there you go. We cut that hole up there, so he's never done drywall either. So he's gonna learn how to do some drywall. We picked up some drywall tape and some joint compound. So I'm gonna teach him how to do a drywall patch and repair. And you know, these are good life lessons. Simple things like that. If you can learn how to do those, if someone can help you out the first time, or of course YouTube is out there, which is really pretty good, although some people get in over their heads. I highly suggest that you have a buddy along with you. You know, most of us are happy to get paid with something like this right here to help out on a small job. It's a great way to learn, a great way to save money. The money you invest on tools, what the heck, man? It's always something that you can get back out of your investment. Oh, my brother-in-law is asking. Yeah, there's Wally World, Home Depot, and Lowe's here. PBR for the win. But man, you make me lose my train of thought. Anyway, yeah, learning these things, it sticks with you for a lifetime. You can save a lot of money just doing small things like that. I don't know what a plumber would charge to come in and install a wax ring to fix a leak like that, but it's got to be hundreds of dollars. Robert Roy, what's up? Good afternoon. It's afternoon here. I imagine it's a little bit later there. But that's the sort of things I like to do when I'm visiting family, is help them out. And for my son-in-law, teaching him some stuff. He's a great guy. He's working on putting together his tool collection here. We went through his toolbox, or he did the other day while I was sitting here watching him put it all together. He's amassing some tools, so I know he's got a table saw, some decent clamps here. He had wood glue around the house, had all the stuff. But you know, he has the will to learn this stuff, and that's good, because if you have the will to learn it, you can invest $1,000 in tools and you'll save that in 1 year by just doing a couple small things like this. So if you're interested in doing it and you don't know how to, you just call someone up like me, Robert Roy. He has more tools. Yeah, he does have more tools than you do, and he knows where most of them are, so that's a good thing. But if you're willing to learn, call up your buddy who knows how to do it, watch the YouTube video, get comfortable with it, and you're a little bit more self-reliant. And I think that's one thing that this country, this world really needs a lot more of, is a lot more self-reliance. But Chris is asking how whole lots of daylight thing is going. Let me tell you, that's messing me up big time. It is 12, I guess. It's like noon here. And this is what it looks like outside pretty much 20 hours out of the day. It doesn't really get dark here. It's really messing me up, and I'm planning on going a little bit farther north on my way home next week. And I heard that it's even brighter there. So it's going to be interesting. It's hard to sleep. My sleep patterns are getting messed up. We got blackout curtains, but you stay up till 11. We stayed up till 11 the other day playing a dice game and having fun and enjoying some adult beverages while the baby slept. And it didn't look like it was 11 at night at all. So it's crazy. But self-reliance, thumbs up to self-reliance, everyone out there. Learn something new, whether it be from watching a YouTube video or calling your buddy up and having him help out, or just jumping in both feet. What the hell, you know? Especially if it's something that's broken. If it's broken, it's already broken. So you're not gonna get any worse than that. Paul asked what time zone I'm in. I don't know what they call it, Alaska time zone, but we're 1 hour earlier. 1 hour earlier than California. But hit on these multiple projects. If you're a tinkerer guy like me, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects in work, hoping to wrap up at least a couple of them. The fender will go back on, that chair should go back together, and my tent is about half done. And I think we are done with the wax ring, but now we have project number 2. Finish that thing up. We did pick up a piece of drywall. We did pick up some drywall tape and some joint compound. Going to be a good learning experience for my son-in-law. So I will hopefully finish that stuff before I get out of here next week. Oh yeah, and this is from my brother. I'm wearing his shirt he sent me. I don't know if he's still watching my videos and picking on me, but feel free, bro, if you want to come at me. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Running longer than I wanted to. So get out there, find your own adventure. Adios, my friends.